She doesn't wait for someone to give her permission to take up space. She walks in already knowing she belongs. When she speaks, it's not about volume, it's about conviction. She doesn't need to raise her voice to be heard because her energy already speaks for her. The women who attract the best men don't spend their time trying to prove their worth. They live it. They breathe it, and it shows in the way they move through the world. You can feel it when she enters a room. There's no desperation, no hidden agenda, just presence. She's not performing to be chosen. She's already chosen herself. And here's the truth. The best men don't want a woman who's constantly bending and shrinking and sacrificing her own values to be liked. They want a woman who holds her line, not to be difficult, but because she knows who she is. Her boundaries aren't barriers, they're invitations. They say, "This is the level I operate at. If you can meet me here, we'll go far. If you can't, I'm not going to shrink just to make you comfortable." And when she says no, she means it. Not out of spite, not to play games, but because her peace is worth more than someone else's temporary approval. The women who attract the best men don't explain themselves constantly. They're not over-apologizing for taking time, space, or care for themselves. You won't catch her saying, "Sorry, I just need a moment," every 5 minutes. She says, "I need a moment," and she takes it. Because she's trained the world to see her time and her energy as valuable. And that starts with her. She doesn't rush to fix things just to avoid discomfort. She doesn't chase closure or overextend herself emotionally to keep someone else from walking away. She's not afraid of loss, because she understands the difference between losing a person and losing herself. And the latter? That's a price she's not willing to pay. See, the best men, they notice that. They see that she's not trying to control outcomes. She's focused on alignment. She doesn't demand loyalty, she inspires it. Not by fear, not by guilt, but by being a woman who's already rooted, grounded, clear. This is the kind of woman who doesn't get pulled into drama. She doesn't get triggered by silence. She doesn't need constant validation. Her strength doesn't come from how loud she talks. It comes from how solid she is when things get quiet. And you know what's really powerful? She doesn't weaponize her standards. She doesn't use them to belittle or to manipulate. She lives them. And the right man, he doesn't try to test her boundaries. He respects them. Because when a woman knows what she stands for, the right kind of man isn't offended. He's inspired. He doesn't feel controlled. He feels challenged to rise. The women who attract the best men don't wait for someone to bring them clarity. They are the clarity. Their energy says, "This is what I tolerate. This is what I don't. This is who I am. This is what I value." And they let people self-select from there. That's not cold. That's leadership. Because at the end of the day, it's not about being hard. It's about being whole. And wholeness is magnetic. She doesn't wait for some romantic fairy tale to land in her lap before she sets her world on fire. Instead, she builds a life that's vibrant, purposeful, and unapologetically hers. Every morning, she wakes up with a sense of commitment to herself, to her dreams, to the person she is becoming. It's not that she's dismissing love. Rather, she understands that genuine connection starts with cultivating a deep love for her own journey first. Imagine a woman who invests her time in her passions, who finds joy in the everyday, even in the mundane, and who knows that her happiness isn't waiting on someone else's validation. She designs her days with intention, carving out moments for growth, whether that means diving deep into her work, exploring creative pursuits, or simply nurturing her well-being. In doing so, she radiates an energy that's both magnetic and self-sustaining. When a man sees this woman, he's not just attracted to the way she looks. He's drawn to the brilliance of her spirit, the vibrancy of her life, and the certainty that she is complete on her own. You see, she's built her foundation on the truth that being whole doesn't depend on another person. She realizes that the most satisfying relationships are those where both people enter fully formed, complete, secure, and self-assured. She doesn't settle into a relationship to fill a void or to rescue a part of herself that feels lost. Instead, She comes from a place of abundance. Every accomplishment, every small victory, every lesson learned becomes part of her mosaic, a testament to the value of her own journey. When things get challenging, she isn't quick to seek someone else's comfort before digging into her own resilience. She's learned that internal strength, like a well-tended garden, requires constant care and attention. That's why her self-care is non-negotiable. Whether it's taking quiet moments of reflection, investing in her physical health, or engaging in activities that rejuvenate her spirit, she practices self-love daily. Her life isn't merely a series of happenstances waiting for a romantic twist. It's a carefully curated experience that honors her ambitions and celebrates her individuality. And let's be clear. Building her life isn't about isolation. It's about creating a network of friendships, professional alliances, and passions that support her growth. When she enters a relationship, she brings all of that richness with her, which naturally attracts a partner who is equally grounded in their own life. It's a beautiful symmetry where love enhances an already flourishing existence, rather than attempting to complete something that was, from the start, whole. This strength and focus on self-fulfillment signal to the world and to the right person that she is beyond the need for constant validation. The best men, those who truly understand and appreciate depth, recognize that here is a woman who isn't seeking to be saved or defined by the relationship. Instead, she offers a partnership built on mutual growth and mutual respect. She's not looking for someone to walk in and dictate terms of her happiness. She's looking for a partner who can navigate life with her, sharing both the triumphs and the challenges. Because her life is already a testament to what can be achieved when you stand strong on your own. Ultimately, the way she builds her life is a declaration. It says that every moment is an opportunity to expand, every challenge a chance to grow, and that the best kind of love comes to those who first learn how to love themselves completely. And that is the kind of strength that draws the best men in, those who are ready to complement, not complete, the masterpiece that she already is. There is something rare about a woman who doesn't jump to conclusions, who doesn't turn every silence into a story, or every disagreement into a declaration of war. The kind of woman who listens, not to respond, but to understand. She doesn't treat curiosity like a weakness. She treats it like a superpower. And it is, because when you know how to stay curious instead of getting defensive, you create space for connection, for truth. She's not naive, let's get that straight. She's just smart enough to know that assumptions destroy more than they protect. So instead of reacting from fear, she pauses. She gathers the full picture before deciding how she feels. And in that pause, she shows emotional maturity, the kind that most people never master, because it requires self-control, discipline, inner strength. When something feels off, she asks, not attacks. Hey, what did you mean by that? Can you help me understand what's going on here? These are her tools. Not blame, not sarcasm, not the cold shoulder. Because she knows she doesn't gain anything by making someone feel small. That's not power, that's insecurity. And she's done playing those games. Now, you put that kind of woman in front of a high-quality man, and you'll see something shift. Because a man who's done the work on himself, he's not looking for someone who's going to emotionally explode every time things get uncomfortable. He's looking for a partner. Someone who can meet him with honesty, not hostility. A woman who can navigate conflict without tearing everything down, just to feel in control. And here's the thing. When she does feel hurt, she owns it. She doesn't pretend, she doesn't perform. She says, that didn't sit right with me. Or, that brought something up for me, without weaponizing her feelings. She speaks her truth, but she does it in a way that invites connection, not control. And that right there, that's power. That's grace. That's wisdom. The best men respect a woman who leads with emotional clarity, because he knows that when things get hard, and they always do, he's with someone who won't run, won't blame, won't shut down. She'll lean in. She'll get curious. She'll stay open. And that changes everything. And it's not just about how she treats others. It's how she treats herself. When she makes a mistake, she doesn't spiral into shame. She reflects, she learns, she grows, because curiosity isn't just a skill, it's a mindset, a way of life. And it keeps her evolving, keeps her grounded, and keeps her powerful. She doesn't need to control every variable in a relationship because she trusts her ability to handle whatever truth she finds. And that trust, she's not afraid to see people clearly because she's already done the work to see herself clearly. She's not chasing certainty from others. She's building certainty within. So many people get caught up in proving a point, trying to win the argument, trying to always be right. She's not trying to win. She's trying to understand. And that level of emotional intelligence, it doesn't just attract a man. It inspires him. It challenges him. It brings out the best in him because the truth is, the best men aren't drawn to noise. They're drawn to clarity, and that's exactly what she brings. Not by force, not by fear, but by choosing curiosity over judgment every single time. That's how she creates connection without chaos. She doesn't let just anyone have access to her. Not because she's cold, not because she's playing hard to get, but because she understands that her peace is a form of power and she protects it like it's sacred. Because it is. There's nothing more magnetic than a woman who doesn't need noise, chaos, or attention to feel alive. She's rooted in calm. She's grounded in clarity. And that makes her irresistible to the kind of man who's done entertaining drama and finally wants peace that feels like home. This woman is not interested in being everywhere, with everyone, all the time. She's selective about where she goes, who she gives her time to, and what kind of energy she allows into her space. She doesn't do surface-level conversations and emotional turbulence just to feel something. She knows that inner stillness, that steady, unshakable presence, is where her real strength lives. When people try to test her or pull her into their mess, she doesn't bite. She doesn't take the bait. She doesn't need to prove anything. She'll let silence speak louder than shouting ever could. And that restraint, that discipline, it's not weakness, it's control. The kind that comes from knowing what she values and refusing to let anyone or anything disrupt it. She's been through enough to know that not everyone deserves a front row seat in her life. Some people are loud distractions, not lasting connections. So when she sees red flags, she doesn't explain them away or paint them white. She doesn't stay in spaces that drain her. She doesn't try to fix what's not hers to fix. She walks away, not to hurt anyone, but to stay loyal to herself. You know what else? She's not addicted to intensity. She doesn't confuse adrenaline for attraction. She's not looking for the highs and lows of a toxic cycle. She's looking for consistency, emotional safety, real connection. Because she knows that peace doesn't mean boring. Peace means secure. It means free. It means being able to exhale, knowing that she's not walking on eggshells or bracing for impact. The best men feel that difference immediately. They're not looking to be someone's entire world. They want to be part of a world that already exists. And when they see a woman who's built her life around balance, who doesn't depend on emotional chaos to feel needed, they respect it. More than that, they admire it. Because peace is rare, and when you find someone who has it, you don't want to be the reason they lose it. She's not perfect, and she doesn't pretend to be. She gets triggered. She has bad days. But she knows how to regulate, how to step back and reconnect with herself. She doesn't throw her pain around like a weapon. She works through it. She heals it. Quietly, steadily. And that's what makes her powerful. She doesn't need to be loud about her growth. You can feel it. This kind of presence isn't something you fake. It's earned through self-respect, through discipline, through years of learning how to sit with discomfort without becoming it. That's why her peace feels so different. Because it's real. It's not situational. It's not dependent on who's texting her back or how much attention she's getting. It comes from within. And in a world full of noise, that calm confidence stands out. The right man doesn't see her boundaries as a barrier. He sees them as a blessing. He knows that if he's invited into her space, it's because she sees value in him, not because she needs him to fill a void. And that kind of woman, she doesn't attract chaos. She attracts respect, stability, commitment. Love that doesn't just feel good, it is good.